Hello and welcome to economics class. Today we are going to see how economics becomes a science, but a social science. When you think of science, you probably think about chemistry, biology, physics, and the like. But economics too is a science, but a social science. Why is it called a social science? It's because it is dealing with the human behavior in relation with the resources for the allocation of such resources to satisfy their numerous wants or needs. But before then, what is science in the first place? According to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, science is defined as knowledge arranged in an orderly manner, and especially knowledge gained from observation and testing of facts and the pursuit of such facts. Now, as you can see, this is the definition of science according to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. And it says that science is knowledge arranged in an orderly manner, especially knowledge obtained by observation and testing of facts and the pursuit of such facts. And the pursuit of such knowledge. According to this definition, we can understand that science is built on knowledge. And when we say knowledge, we mean information about a particular activity or a process. Now, you can think of having information about many activities and processes, but this can only be science if it is arranged in such a way that the subsequent information derived does not contradict the first one. They are following one another, or they are following each other. So when this information is obtained by observation of the activity or the process, and facts are established about such activity or the process, and these facts are tested or are proven to be true or not true. Therefore, you are engaging in science. Now, when we say this is science, then how does it have to do with economics? Since we say economics is science, let us try to prove and see whether it is a science or not. Now, as we have seen the definition of economics from the Oxford Dictionary, let us try to fit it with economics to see whether it possesses the qualities or attributes to be called science or not. Now, economics is a body of knowledge arranged in an orderly manner, especially knowledge gained by observation and testing of facts about human beings. So this is the main reason why that economics is different from other science subjects, because it is dealing directly with human beings. Human beings are not their internal processes. For example, their digestive process or their physiological structure, but it is dealing with the human beings in terms of their behavior toward allocation of resources rationally to satisfy their numerous wants or needs. So as we are dealing with the human behavior with regards to resources, how do they process the resource in terms of their occupation? How do they spend this resource, or how do they use the resource in order to satisfy their needs? Then we engage in studying economics. Now, as I told you before, knowledge is about information. Now, so by observation about human behavior, you can establish information. And this information can be tested and found to be fact, especially if it is used in an orderly manner. The facts that I gained from the observation of human behavior toward resources are now transformed into laws. And when we say law, we mean an established fact that has been tested and found to be true over a very long period of time. Now, so we have many laws in economics, among which are law of demand. This law of demand says that the higher the price of goods and services, the lower the quantity demanded of such goods and services, other things being constant, and vice versa. What do you mean by this statement is that it is the description of the behavior of buyers toward goods and services. Whenever there is increase in the price, definitely people will buy less of such goods and services. And whenever there is a decrease in the price, there is the possibility of buyers to buy less of such goods and services. But this can only be true under certain condition, in which that, as we say, other things being constant, there are other factors that are affecting demand other than the price. For example, the price of related goods, income of the consumers, population of the consumers, and etc. and etc. Now, unless these factors are the same or unchanged, this law will not be true. But if they are constant, that means nothing is happening to them, the law will be true. So this is one example of the laws we have in economics. Apart from law of demand, we have another law, which is law of supply. This law of supply tries to give us a description of the behavior of producers, suppliers, and sellers of goods and services. As we have seen the law of demand, we are going to see also the law of supply, because they are going together. Now, the law of supply says that the higher the price of goods and services, the higher the quantity supplied, other things being constant, and vice versa. What do you mean by this is that whenever there is a conceivable rise in the price of goods and services, this will motivate sellers, suppliers, or producers of goods to supply more, because they know that the more the price, the more the revenue, and the less the price, the less the revenue. Now, this law, as we have seen in the case of demand, can only be true under one condition: by having other factors that are affecting supply to be constant. These are the other factors. For example, price of related goods, tax or technology, and in some cases, government policy. These factors have to be unchanged for the law of supply to be the same. So, I have just given you two laws, but apart from them, we have another law, like law of diminishing marginal utility. Now, having seen the law of demand and supply as an evidence that proves that economics is a science, we now have another law, that is law of diminishing marginal utility. And what we mean by this law is that as more and more of a good or service is consumed, it will yield or give a consumer less satisfaction. What do you mean by this? For example, you have a bottle of beverage and you are thirsty. You need to drink it. Now, as you take it for the first time, the level of satisfaction you derive from the first sip will be very much. So as you continue to drink it, you can measure your level of satisfaction. It will be decreasing because you are consuming more, up to the level when you will feel that you no longer feel liking to drink that beverage. So that is the meaning of law of diminishing marginal utility. So from this brief explanation, we can understand that economics is a science. And these laws all are established based on facts that were driven or that were derived from the observation of human behavior. Such laws that I have just briefly explained are tested and found to be true and are experimented in society, because we are dealing with human beings and the society is composed by human beings. Economics therefore possesses the attribute of science like investigation, observation, arrangement, classification, and interpretation of facts. This leads to the establishment of principles, propositions, theories, and laws applied for the analysis, prediction, and forecasting of economic problems and solutions.